proud of the fact that the faculty and the College of Engineering voted overwhelmingly to bring computer science into the college, despite the fact that we were cramped for space and the budget was not adequate when I started and was more inadequate when we moved them. And that the faculty were well aware of the fact that the College of Arts and Sciences had stipulated that the budget for computer science should stay with the College of Arts and Science. When we moved it, in fact, the budget came with it. Although through sleight of hand, Bob Hemingway, before he went on to be chancellor at University of Kansas, was able to reimburse the College of Arts and Sciences for the $1.5 million that they lost. But in July 1 of 1994, we moved the College of the Department of Computer Science and Engineering. I moved the dean's office and all the dean's facilities over to the robotics building, which fortunately had just been completed. We doubled up faculty in some departments. We cleared off the seventh floor of the now we call it the Anderson Tower. Some of the faculty went into the old engineering annex, I believe. It was not an ideal situation. By the way, the College of Arts and Science stipulated that on July 1, 1994, that computer science had to vacate all their facilities in the Patterson office tower. So we pulled it off. We did not merge it with electrical engineering. That didn't go, and neither the faculty in computer science nor the faculty in electrical engineering were favorably inclined towards that. So we did pull that off. But I do think that 23 years later, it's been a boon to computer science. I know it's been beneficial to electrical and computer engineering, which manages the computer engineering program jointly with computer science. I'm always delighted when I hear success stories like Joanna when she comes back. There are two graduates here about how well they do. I would say in the 22 years that I was a dean, moving computer science to engineering was probably one of the most, if not maybe the single most important thing that I did as a dean in academic. Just because we picked up a department that had high intellectual and academic standards. They've had a positive influence on the rest of the college, and I believe that they benefited from being part of the college, and this building is a manifestation of that. Davis Marksbury, a civil engineering graduate, went to work for Shell Offshore and became involved in dealing with deep water drilling technology, and particularly the dynamics of the drill stems that you have in 10, 15,000 feet of water. And he started creating, after he left Shell, he created two software firms and sold them, and he finally created one up here called Extreme Software that he sold to HP for north of $1 billion with his partner. And so when we approached him for doing something about engineering, he didn't want to do anything for civil engineering. He wanted to do something for the computer-related part of engineering. And he was so impressed with what was going on in the Department of Computer Science and the Center for Visualization that he basically offered up the lead gift for this building. And so that's why we named it after Davis Marksbury. I think that's testimony to the fact that computer science, as Joanna said, is ubiquitous. It's ubiquitous to all the disciplines in engineering. It transcends technology, our very lives now, and actually depend upon us. So that's how it happened.
But that was just one side from the administration side. From the point of view of Department of Computer Science, well, two chairs, as I mentioned, Breitbart and then Mirek Truszczynski, negotiated with you, and maybe Mirek you can mention how it looked from your side.
Well, 1993 and 1994, and then I will even say 1995 were critical years for the department. I will tell you a little bit about this as well, but I want to, for a brief moment, go back a few years, because I think it was indeed something that I need to credit Jim Wells here with. His ability to bring good people and at some point hiring Rafi Finkel here and Yuri Breitbart. Both things happened in 1986. You were still chair of the department. We were looking for a could share. And I remember Chris Newberry considering various strategies, whether we should go for a Chevrolet or for a Cadillac. And this was at the time when we haven't even seen anything remotely resembling Buick. So I remember distinctly when you came one day and said that Forbes, actually, I think, to his acquaintance with Yuri, made him apply, and he did apply, and we were quite impressed with Yuri Breitbart. And he did very many good things for the department. Negotiating the move to College of Engineering was one of those. Well, the problem was that he did negotiate it, it was all arranged perhaps, but in 1993, early in 1993, he decided that the next year he is going to spend at his sabbatical, leave in Switzerland, and he was very happy to leave the task of overseeing the move to somebody else. That person turned out to be me. I am not sure what I was thinking then, but I did agree. To do it. And 1 year we were in College of Arts and Sciences, and I got this sense of certain happiness and relief. These guys will be gone in a year. So they were, in a sense, happy to talk to me. They didn't need to make any promises. They didn't need to care about anything. They were happy that in a year we will be not their problem. And so I did get a little bit of sense. During that time, I already talked to Dean Lester many times, trying to see what we can do to make this transition smoother. I know that I cannot expect anything from Dean Edwards. I did make one or two overtures and attempts to negotiate as much as I could, but ultimately it would have to be Tom who would need to speak to people in College of Arts and Sciences and in the Chancellor's office to make sure that we can get whatever we can from College of Arts and Sciences. So this was a very interesting year. Space, there were two fundamental issues. Space was one of them. Lester already mentioned about the demolition of the quadrangle. He said that half of it was gone, Aztec and civil engineering. He didn't mention that the other half was still there. And I remember one day there was a small attempt to put computer science department there. I remember walking there with somebody, probably Tom Moore, who was going to show me all this fantastic space that computer science would be getting if we go to College of Engineering. And I remember some of these areas were accessible only by ladders, I think. Very difficult to access. So no, we were willing to accept a lot, but we couldn't probably accept the quadrangle space. So this space in Anderson Hall and a space in mining engineering, old mining engineering building was what we got. We were happy with it. We were not in as good accommodations perhaps as in College of Arts and Sciences, but we felt we are in a place where administration will support us, and that was the message and that was the sense I was getting each time I spoke to an investor, and that was the message I tried to convey to our faculty, who were not always 100% sure that things will turn out well, but certainly they did. The other issue was computing services. This was fundamental issue really for us. We hired young people, Rajya Bhatkar and Jim Griffin here and Brent Seals. There were some others. Rafi was here earlier. They all wanted to do systems work, to study distributed computing. And so there was no support from College of Arts and Sciences for that at all. We really had to do it all ourselves. Absolutely no support for instructional computing for us, for research computing for other people. And none of the support that we had, none of the budget for computing was transferred to College of Engineering. We had maybe workstations for every faculty member, perhaps 20 other workstations or 10 or something like that, that was all. Not a single line to maintain this equipment. But I realized that we are getting nothing. Talked to Tony about it. He looked at me and with uncharacteristic brevity said, "We don't have a player." Probably we didn't. But Rafi, who was on sabbatical, who was not here during this year 1993 was coming back in the summer of 94. He took upon himself to oversee the work of our computing facilities. He had 2 graduate students who were paid for doing that, and he, who was just the overseer, but probably the brain behind all that. These 3 people made possible for us to survive, I would say. To
And
quote
Baxter, of course.
What?
And the Baxter.
Yeah, well, the Baxter, I didn't think we got anything like that. We just got workstations and roughly these 2 people. So I will say that never have so many or so much to so few. To quote one of your politicians that you are so fond. Yeah, I want to make that very clear. And then we did make ourselves a very good effort to get the first infrastructure grant. Jim and Brent both were PIs of that grant. Several electrical engineering faculty members were on that grant. This was the first major infrastructure grant that the college got, the department got. That made huge difference in our lives. I would say that people who were on PIs, young people, there were 3 senior people, Victor, Marek, and I on that grant, but there were several young people. When I look back now on that, I see that that grant was a fantastic incubator of talent. We have Larry Holloway, who was a PI, who is now an interim dean and had a very nice, very illustrious career as department chair, director of the robotics Center for Manufacturing Systems. We have Raji Avatkar, who is now senior vice president of VMware. We had Jim, who is director of the Center for Computational Sciences. Direx has been doing a very good job as a director of Laboratory for Advanced Networking. Brent, who led Center for Visualization for many years, who is the chairman of the department right now here. Ratnesh Kumar, who unfortunately left, IEEE member and full professor at Iowa State. Stephen Gedney, who is now chair and also IEEE fellow, chair of the Department of Electrical Engineering, University of Colorado Denver. So these people were on that grant, and I am quite impressed by what they accomplished throughout their careers. But at the very beginning of that was this critical stepping stone of getting enough money to establish computational infrastructure in the department. The level of support for that grant we got from the College of Engineering, from the investor, but also, I will say, Dave Ward, who was associate vice chancellor for research of some sort of a and he was very helpful. The 2 administrators, colleagues, provided us with a lot of help, and we somehow pulled it off with NSF.
I understand one postscript. I neglected to mention Dr. Truszczynski's role in the transition. He was chair of the sum total for 14 years. In my mind, he's a prototype of the department chair at the University of Kentucky. I've never worked with anybody who was a better chair than Mirek. The department was lucky, I think, and fortunate that they had tremendous leadership, still do, with Yuri, Mirek, Ken Calvert, and Brent Seals. And one final thing, this is a surprising story probably for those of you who know President Charles Weatherford. When the Research Channels Trust Fund came about in 1998, what was called Bucks for Greens, the university was given $4 million to invest invest in recurring money in various departments. And there was a faculty-wide, campus-wide committee that decided chemical and materials engineering was the only department within the College of Engineering that was earmarked for enhancement. And when I went to talk to the president about this, he was the one that took the initiative. And he said, I don't understand why the faculty did not identify computer science and electrical engineering as 2 departments that deserve enhancement. He said, I'll be damned if I'm going to let the University of Louisville run away and claim that they are the center for double E in computer science in the state of Kentucky. So it was really President Weathington who was the one who decided that he was going to put $600,000, almost $700,000 in the College of Engineering, about 80% of which went to computer science and double E. I think computer science got 6 faculty lines out of
Some of them are here.
Some of them are here. You got,
Ken was one of them.
I think you got some fellowships, you got some graduate fellowships, you may have, I think you got technician support.
Yes, we got, this was the money that brought the first regular line for technical support.
So, anyway, I wanted to make sure that President Leatherby got his due, because sometimes things were vile around here. But in this case, he was spot on.
Yes. So we'll also hear two, if you will, statements, the description, what you could actually learn at the University of Kentucky and how did it allow you to pursue your career. So,
Well, I think I have a kind of interesting perspective because I had the privilege of being a student here and then staying here with IBM my entire 35-year career, and then subsequently get involved when computer science came over into engineering. Dean Lester had an advisory, an engineering alumni association board, and I was the charter CS guy. So I was like the token CS guy in all the meetings, and so 2 or 3 things I wanted to just say is, number one, thank you to so many of you all. I had no idea. I was at the 30th anniversary, and I heard Dr. Newberry tell this story about the thing almost falling apart, and I was a student just wrapping up. I had no idea. So that was great. So they did a great job of insulating all that from us, so we had enough to worry about getting through the classes and what have you. And there was a great collaboration back in that time, all the way back then, between computer science and math, and a lot of great CS professors, a lot of great math professors. And at that time, the program wasn't quite as technical as with engineering, so I thank God I didn't have to take physics. But I did take some arts and sciences things, and it kind of made me think of some of the stuff Joanna was talking about a rounded, a kind of a rounded background that helped me in my career. Because, at the core, we're creators. I think computer science are creators. We are problem solvers. And although some of the stuff that I took, maybe math, I didn't quite appreciate. I've not touched calculus the whole time. However, I'm sure it helped me think and probably helped me with just problem solving in general. And, went through development, and of course, as a lot of us do, as you get further in your career, you go into management, become a bean counter. And some of the colleagues that I've known in just all these different forums, I think this education allows you to pivot and go do different things. And I think that's exciting. So there's just been a lot of very interesting people I've met. In that 20 years since I've either been on the Engineering Alumni Association board or the Computer Science Advisory Board, you start, number one, to appreciate all of the bullcrap you guys have to put up with in the politics of the university. And if several of these gentlemen had not taken the time to go fight, it would have been easy to capitulate, fold up the tent, and go home. And that would have really been a shame, because when you look at, I think the University of Kentucky Computer Science program is still a really quiet kind of thing. We used to talk in engineering, and I got around the civil engineers, which have been here since forever, and the mechanical engineers since 1865, and they had professional societies and the like. And I think by nature, a lot of us go off and, corners and closets and work on our things and don't necessarily keep up with each other. So I think it was great to do this, to bring a lot of folks kind of back and see all the great stuff that's been accomplished at this university. So that's really all I have to say. I mean, I think it's just been I've just, like I said, had the privilege of being here my whole life, never had to move, and was able to come and maybe give back in some small way to people who really, really care. And the last thing I would just say, and it was another thing Joanna was kind of showing about ACM and SWE, I think this university, I'm going all the way back to when I was here, which started 39 years ago. Everybody that I was around cared about the students. That sounds, trite or whatever, but it's true. They cared about students, office hours. I remember people spending the extra time. I didn't get half of the stuff that Dr. Kubota taught me, and I'd go do office hours. Ended up developing a great relationship. He actually supported me into my original co-op, academic part-time at IBM. I just got to tell one quick story. He'd come out, and I was the systems programmer for something called a Series 1, which was like a big refrigerator-looking thing. I was writing a cafeteria inventory system out of PO1. And Dr. Capote would come out, come in the back dock, and go through the refrigerator. I was sitting next to the refrigerator, and he'd come and score. I mean, it was one of the best learning, co-op, any kind of practical experience. So good. And this program has always had a premium on that. So I think that's a good thing. So just from a student's perspective, I want to thank all of you and all of you professors for all the great things you've done.
So the last person to speak is Jackie Brown, who was our student here, and we enjoyed her contributions actually, and she was a student here now.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. I'll try to be brief so that, because I know that Tom is drawing near, but I'm Jackie Brown. I started my undergraduate here at the University of Kentucky in '87. I started as a computer science major. Dr. Baxter was one of my first professors. I learned Pascal from Dr. Baxter and Dr. Marek from, I think it was discrete math. And also, back when I started, there were multiple options that you could take within the computer science curriculum. You could have a hardware option, software, or a business option. I decided to take the business option. With that came a few semesters of accounting, economics, marketing, and management, which were all very instrumental to what I'm doing now. So I felt that that was a very well-rounded undergraduate experience. And it's very interesting, even though I was in the Department of Computer Science right at the edge of the department moving from arts and sciences to engineering, I experienced the crowdedness of the Patterson office tower when we needed office hours and that kind of thing. I remember that it was very congested there at that time. However, I do believe that the computer science department had each student in mind. I did experience the co-op, and even though, unlike Joanna, I did not have an interest in petroleum, I did do a co-op at Ashton Oil. So that was a very meaningful experience that wouldn't have occurred unless the folks had reached out to me about that opportunity while I was an undergraduate student. As I was finishing my undergraduate, I was approached by Dr. Finkel and Dr. Marek about the Lum and T. Johnson Fellowship, which is a fellowship for African American students who are interested in graduate school at the university. So I was offered that fellowship, and they helped advise me with my master's work, as well as the curriculum and the classes I needed to take. So through those years came the networking class, operating systems, numerical analysis, and of course the master's project with logic work that I did with Dr. Marek. So all of those experiences were very valuable, and even though the computer science was in the midst of all of the different transitions as part of its presence at the university, I felt like the department overall looked out for those of us who had an interest in pursuing computer science as a career or as a path. So in addition to all those things, in terms of the social experience with computer science, it didn't really occur with the computer science department. The social experience that I received from an engineering computer science perspective was with the National Society of Black Engineers, which was a on-campus organization that brought different engineering and science related majors together for different activities on campus and throughout the country, actually. And so Dean Lester really supported that organization with the different trips and conferences that we went on, but it was also a way for the computer science students to actually be a part of engineering because we were all participating in different activities there. So it's very interesting now that right now I live in Louisville, Kentucky, and it's very interesting to hear about the University of Louisville because I hear about that a lot. But despite that, I am currently an application architect at a gift card transaction processing company in Louisville. I started out there as a batch developer. Primary language was C, which is another language that I learned here at the University of Kentucky. When I left University of Kentucky in '94, right before I left, I was looking for jobs, and back then the Y2K craziness was going on. So I also had an interest in Atlanta at that time because the gentleman I was dating, and I looked at all of the Atlanta. Back then, the jobs were in the newspaper. So I looked at the newspaper, and they had all these Y2K opportunities, but you had to learn COBOL. And University of Kentucky did not offer COBOL, so I went over to Lexington Community College and took a COBOL class my very last semester as a graduate student, just so that I would be prepared for whatever opportunities existed. So, interestingly enough, though, 6 years later, when I moved to Louisville from Atlanta, at the current organization I'm at now, I had to use COBOL. So it actually did come in handy, and like the organization, I use COBOL anymore. But anyway, we're still using C. All of Unix background that I was introduced to at here at the university is in play there. A lot of database management work. Databases are everywhere, and so I feel that it was a very well-rounded education, just like Owen had mentioned. And I'm hoping that this institution will continue to have that legacy. I've had I've participated in a lot of hiring processes hiring exercises, and it's unfortunate, but a lot of folks who come in to actually be a part of my current organization don't have some of the computer science understandings. They don't have that experience either academically, and it's very disheartening for a lot of people to understand that in the real world, you may not be writing code from scratch. You might actually be managing, maintaining, and supporting other people's code. And that's not a sexy thing to do, but it's definitely something that you have to learn. And troubleshooting skills and understanding basic, assembler type function. I never will forget the assembler language class that we had here. I think it was called IBM 250, where you have to actually learn about loading and stacks and all of that. All of that is very fundamental in computer science, but I do believe that we may be missing some of that with recent graduates. So, University of Kentucky has a wonderful legacy, though, in Louisville. In University of Louisville, they have a speed engineering school. However, I think that those who I work with and in other institutions, other facilities in Louisville and elsewhere, believe that the University of Kentucky graduates have more of a basis in the fundamental understanding. So I think that speaks volumes to the current organization, the faculty and staff here that are here now, and those are just the whole legacy of the organization. So again, very appreciative of what everyone has done here, not only for me personally, but I can see that in those of us who are here today. So it's great.
So, well, thank you very much, Jackie, and the entire panel. I think we have things which are a little bit dramatic, but I think it's better to see that things are not always smooth. But but eventually, I think we are able to overcome many things, and I think the state of the department right now shows us that we are able. Well, thank you very much.